hearing from me and I'd be heading home. And Condi calls me from the secure bunker and says a third plane has hit the Pentagon.
Also, there is a fire and an explosion at the Pentagon this morning. The very seat of our nation's defense apparently been targeted for another terrorist attack.
I remember thinking the first one was likely an accident, the second one was an attack, and the third plane was a declaration of war.
Ambulances, fire equipment, and police cars. I tell you right now, it looks like a war zone.
The first task at hand was to respond to the attacks and to prevent other attacks from happening as best as we could. I got to the base of the plane and the whole situation looked different. People were armed. Stewardesses at the top of the stairs were sad and concerned and frightened. I remember giving them a big hug and saying everything will be all right. And I said, let's go to Washington. I wanted to be in Washington, D.C. as commander-in-chief at a time of war. And I needed to be, in the Capitol, making the decisions necessary to protect the homeland and recover from the initial attacks. Once we got on that plane, that cracked Air Force One up, took up straight up. We're headed toward Washington. I feel the plane bang. And Andy Card, Eddie Morenzo, the head of Secret Service, came and said, "You're not going back to Washington." I said, "What are you talking about? I'm the President of the United States. We're going back. I need to be there."
And President Bush is not returning to Washington. The White House is not saying where he is heading, but the president was out of Washington at the time.
I wasn't happy about it. And I told him, I said, we're going to Washington. And then they held their ground because they felt it would be irresponsible for me to head back into a city that had just been attacked when, in fact, we didn't know what else might come.
I got Air Force One over here at the Bruton sector, and he's been given clearance after Kresge to go where anywhere he wants to, so be on standby. He may be heading your way.
Okay, thank you.
He's about 5 minutes from Kresge, and we don't know what he's going to do when he gets there. All right, thank you. All right.
When the third plane hit the Pentagon, the magnitude of the attacks grew dramatically. I came to the conclusion that we were at war.
Developments coming fast and furious this morning. The White House has been threatened with a terrorist attack. The West Wing of the White House has been evacuated as well.
These incidents are happening so quickly, relatively speaking, that my first focus was what can we do to stop attacks and how do we respond to those that happen.
If I could break in for just a moment, this late word just coming into us. The FAA has closed off all airports across the country. No takeoffs.
We realized that the enemy was using commercial aircraft or aircraft to attack us.
All airports nationwide shut down.
And the best way at that point in time to protect our country was to force every airplane down. And therefore, any airplane left up would be viewed as potentially hostile. Not only was I having trouble communicating with people on the ground, the images of the attacks were kind of flickered back and forth on the TV. I was very frustrated, of course. We'd be flying through these TV zones, and you'd see images of 9/11, of the incidents on 9/11. And then as we got out of the coverage, they'd die off. was a lot of sadness on Air Force One. We'd seen the images of people dying, and I just knew the heartbreak that was ravaging families. Most powerless I ever felt was when I was watching people jump to their death on TV, and there's nothing I could do about it.